Okay, well, I'd say good evening, but of course this is virtual, so good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time you're watching this. Welcome to Back to School Night presentation, virtual presentation for Physics 1 and 2. This is basically the same PowerPoint that the students got on their transition day. We kind of start out looking at physicists from the past. A lot of these names they probably would not have known. But they will know them by the time we get through with these. And I asked them to think about this while we're passing books out. So as far as the course, it goes itself. Let me just go home. Oops. Okay. Physics is the most fundamental of the sciences. I mean, physics is, at its base level, it talks about how atoms and molecules actually get together. And then chemistry takes that to the next level. And then biology is by far the most complicated of these sciences. The physics we will be studying will not involve necessarily too many subatomic particles, at least not at first. But Rutherford's comment here is kind of trying to cut to the chase about the fact that physics is trying to study the most fundamental aspects in our universe. And that's really the truth. Topics in Physics 1, we focus pretty much on gravity, gravitation, and the effects of gravity. And typically I will get through these first 5 units. Don't know with the 2 days that we basically lost, whether or not this week we lost them to the snowstorm, whether or not I get to any fluids. I hope to. I really like to get to that stuff. It's the basics of fluid statics, pressure and dynamics, and flow equations, and Bernoulli's equations, stuff like that, but we'll see what happens. These first 2 units used to be a single unit. Shortly after starting here, I decided to cut it into 2. So unit 1 is really simple. Should be an easy way to start with a good grade on a test there. And then the equations start flying fast and furious as we go through. And unit 5 by far is the monster of Physics 1. Physics 2 is about really light and magnetism. Whoops, back here. We do a short unit on waves and sound to introduce those concepts, and then electricity and magnetism, EM. That is the other fundamental force of the universe that we look at. Physics 1, we look at gravity, Physics 2, electromagnetism. And we finish off with some of my favorite stuff, honestly, light and optics, my geoastro course. I like to hammer home the point repeatedly that so much of our understanding of everything in the universe, galaxies, stars, nebula, comets, you name it, black holes, has to do with an analysis of the light that they send us, and that's really it. That's all we get from most of those objects. We barely begin to explore our own solar system, but a fundamental and thorough understanding of how light behaves is the basis of appreciating what astronomy has been able to do. Okay. I will be posting links to most of the material. As I assign stuff, I will post the links to where to find it at my website, but this is the website. It's linked to the school page, and here, hopefully everyone, I posted the syllabus last week. I really encourage everyone to take a good, close look at that and the course requirements. I'm going to go over some of those here today. Every one of these units has its own PowerPoint there, and I have split the PowerPoints into 2. There is a full PowerPoint for each unit, which has pretty much all of the stuff, text, that I have eliminated from my classroom PowerPoints. I like to say the words and not have them try to write the words during class, but all of the things, all of the major points are included in textual version on those PowerPoints. There are also PowerPoints from each unit which only have the practice problems, and I seriously encourage you kids to print those out. Because those are the practice problems we'll be working through in class. So as long as they have that, they can do the work right on those practice problem PowerPoints. Okay. Practice problems, that's going to be the homeworks. These are taken from, I have a collection of about a dozen college physics texts, and these are collections of problems from those textbooks. Each set has the answers. I want them to have the answers so they know whether or not they know what they're doing. and each unit is comprised of multiple chapters, and I usually assign a chapter with the practice problems at a time. Okay. Lab worksheets. There are a lot of labs listed there on the website. We do not do them all. We will do as many as we can. Labs are a particular challenge in this current environment, but I'm working on ways to make that work. And of course, we went fully remote last year, so I have a lot of additional material that I can use if I choose to. And of course, I have links to some cool videos. All right, homework. I'm going to go over each one of these elements at a time. Homework, that's practice. And honestly, I like to keep the labs reasonably low percentage-wise because I've designed my labs to be exploratory. My labs help lead the students through what they're supposed to do to a conclusion that I can look at and say, yes, you did it right, or no, you didn't. Labs should be to demonstrate the phenomenon we talk about in class and the fact that they're true. So I try to keep labs at a low because they really they're more like practical practice. And then quizzes and tests are where the rubber meets the road. And there is one marking period project. Each marking period for the third marking period is a poster project that if they follow the rubric and give me everything, that should be an easy 100, and it should be a booster to their marking period test average. Fourth marking period, it's the Balsa Bridge construction project. More on that to follow. I have to see how we're going to work out doing that because I allow them to work as individuals or with one or two partners, and we need to figure out how we can make that work this year. I'm confident that we can because that project won't be even on their radar till May, and hopefully things will be quite improved by then. Homework. I don't take typed homework. You cannot do this stuff properly unless you're physically writing it out. And all of this stuff will be gone over with the kids multiple times. There is a procedure for solving physics problems. If they're going to survive with their sanity intact this semester, they're going to take my advice on day one. They're going to listen real closely to me on day one, and they're going to do all the steps. Labs. Rule of thumb, make it look professional. Fill things out. Type things. If I ask you to produce a procedure, type that procedure. Okay? I will give specific instructions to each lab as we go through the course. Sometimes I give them its handouts, and all they got to do is perform the experiments, fill in the blanks, and answer the questions. Other labs, they're going to construct from scratch. And again, as we go through the marking periods, I will adjust what can be done based on who's here and who's fully remote. Okay, this is all the advice they're going to get from me as far as labs. I will give tips on how to make sure the lab works properly. I don't expect to see that scrawled on the back of any of their pages they hand me. First bullet, should appear professional. Okay, scribbling is not professional. Tables, pet peeve of mine. Don't cut a table in half. Tables should be all on one page. Headings should be on one page. Okay. Actually, I need to take this bullet out because Google Docs submissions are the only things that are going to be accepted. So this PowerPoint is a little bit dated. I got to update that, I suppose. And I will allow them, of course, I asked them to hand in sample calculations of all their work, and that, of course, can be handwritten. I usually advise them to find the person in their group or the partner in their group with the neatest handwriting and have them do it. Can't emphasize this enough. If a question is worth 10 points and there are multiple steps, all you write is the answer, and that answer is wrong. It is a -10. All work being shown is to the student's benefit because maybe they just misplaced a decimal. Maybe they mislabeled something. Maybe they put a negative sign instead of a positive sign. Those are small mistakes, which would be 2 out of 10. They would still get 8 points, but they must show me the work so that I can do my job and find out how much they did right. Okay? Can't emphasize this enough. Okay? A couple other important things. This is also a little bit dated because everything's going to be timestamped anyway when they hand it in. If they're absent, which they really, that's not, I don't expect absences to be a big deal, although I will say that I do have an attendance policy for the college credit. Most colleges, if you're absent more than 3 or 4 times, they're going to, withdraw you. I place it at 6 per marking period. Okay, so this is 6 absences for Physics 1 and 6 absences for Physics 2. You go beyond that, and I will be unable to basically award you that college grade. Must be here. And my attendance policy for this course, for remote students on remote days, I need to see their faces. Their cameras must be on during class. Okay, I know first block, it's early. Okay, set the alarm, get up. I want to teach faces, not little boxes with names in them. Okay, again, that six absences is with regards to the college credit, has nothing to do with mate's credit. Okay, get to the end of this presentation, I asked them how many of these people they can name, and we'll see how they do. If you're interested, you may email me at any point. I don't want to give this away in this video, but if you would like to number 1 through 13 and submit something as a parent, see how good you are at naming these 13 famous people. 13 might be tricky. 4 is usually pretty tricky. 7 and 8 should be gimmies. 12 should be a gimme. The rest of them, I would hope, will be gimmies by the time your kids are done with this class. All right, that's all I have, and I wish them luck. I want to say very, very strongly, hopefully they will have taken my advice from the first day. I'm going to ask them to take notes on what I say on the first day of class regarding how to do well in this course. I'm going to try to set up after-school help sessions on the days before tests. As a result of the quarantine last semester, I actually have additional notes and lectures from units 5 through 10 that I will be posting. I may record my lectures from units 2, 3, and 4 and post those things as well as backup for them to go back and review what I had to say. More on that to follow. I have to see how things work with the technology here in the classroom, but I'm confident I can swing that. All right. Thank you very much.